welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is...
I'm here.
Oh,
there
God
it is. You know,
damn.
and we're lucky to have him.
That's what you're getting today.
Poor Chris. Dude, Chris is shot, but you know what? He showed up. He's making the attempt.
I am.
I showed up at his house a little bit early. He was in the shower. I was admiring his new cold and hot air handling unit system that was installed in his apartment.
Oh, yeah.
It makes noises. He does not like it.
You don't like it either.
I don't like it either. I agree with Christopher. This thing is noisy as fuck.
I don't like errant noise machines.
No, not at all.
Like, I want controlled noise machines.
Yeah.
Like the fans, the AC. The things I want to make noise, perfect.
Yeah.
The things that you put in my shit that make noise, fuck off.
Yeah, no control over it.
Chris will definitely smash this at some point.
Oh, boy.
It's going to get the machete.
There
It's
it
next to
is.
his bed. 100%.
Sleep protection protocols.
Can't promise anything.
No promises, and you are.
I'm Rob Morphy.
Thank you all so very much for joining us. Cryptonaut Podcast. Oh, we're back. We're doing it. Patreon's a thing that we offer. Patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. Robert, let's do those shout-outs.
Let's do them. Eduardo Enciso.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Ryan Hate.
Hell yeah, Ryan.
But not like hate, like, you know, dislike. Like in Ashbury kind of sense.
Sure.
There you go.
Mancha Makuchi. And there we have it.
We're just getting them dollars tossed at us.
Just
for
throw them down. Like, yeah, just
do
make
it.
it rain, people.
just munch on my coochie. Thanks. Thanks for the dollar.
Yeah, throw it in my G-string. It doesn't matter. I'll say the name.
That's a nice G-string you got, Rob. We appreciate it.
It's ample. A lot of dollars can fit. James Taylor.
Oh, I seen
About
fire and I've
time.
seen rain. Yeah.
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you think that song is about you. And you're our patron, so it probably is.
There you go.
Hunter Stewart.
Hunter, thank you.
John Thompson.
Hell yeah, John.
Will Garul.
What up, Will?
Burn Moon 11.
Yeah.
That's
Fucking, that's going to be my Burning Man name, I think.
Is that really?
Burn Moon 11. Fuck
There
yeah.
is a really interesting old, I can't endorse it by any means, but like German shot on video, I think 90s horror film called Burning Moon.
Okay.
I cannot recommend it to anyone, but
All
it's if you like your shit filthy.
Let's just forget about it.
Matthew Byram.
Thank you, Matthew.
He's a big fan of that movie. I can tell. Jeremy George.
Hell yeah, Jeremy.
Zach Bales.
Yeah, what up, Zach?
Angeline McAnulty.
Hell yeah, Angeline.
Tess Bentley.
What up,
Yep.
Tess?
Oh, it's so classy. Cole Mealy.
Thank you, Cole. Thank you so much.
Dalton Sharrow.
What up, Dalton?
Daniel Slack.
Yeah, Daniel.
Spring-heeled Sigh.
Fucking
right.
sweet. I love it.
Me too. Jason Neitzel.
Hell yeah, Jason.
Hot Chef Zucci.
Hell yeah. What up, Hot Chef?
And to round it all up, shit, guys, I just popped a boner.
Again, thank you for your dollars.
Yeah,
I mean,
doing it.
Doing it and doing it right.
just keep tossing them dollars at us. Keep giving us them names. We're going to keep shouting them
Oh,
out.
every one of them.
Hell yeah. So thank you all for your continued Patreon support. It obviously goes to help us produce, create, and manage and pay bills and do all kinds of shit that we have to do. It's Chris's job. So fucking thank you.
It is.
Chris, your bosses appreciate your work.
No doubt.
What are you talking about?
The patrons.
All the patrons
the
they're
bosses.
all of our bosses. We've got
That's
a
true.
lot of bosses. Like over 600 bosses, which is a lot of fucking bosses.
That is a big board table.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But thank you all, obviously. We keep saying it, but it really does mean the world to us. Thank you all so very much for your support this week. Robert, wow, we're going down some fucking roads this week, my friend.
Yeah, we are.
We are talking about the Oz Factor, Dublin Demonoid, and the Kamikaze Squirrel Man.
Fun times. Great old.
Is that just Mark flying into a hole? Is that going to be the fucking twist at the end of this?
Rob sent this, and it took me a second. I'm like, all right, Demon. I'm like, Kamikaze what? Squirrel Man?
Yeah.
All right, you know what?
That's what's happening.
Yeah, all right. Well, without further ado, let's do this. For two young men, one American and one Irish, a pair of mundane activities would swiftly spiral out of control, plummeting each of them into a nightmarish paranormal vortex, resulting in violent confrontations with two utterly inexplicable quasi-humanoid animalistic entities that seem to be hellbent on assaulting their human prey.
That's all they want.
Damn.
I mean, this is loaded.
Punch a human, hug a human, make a human feel comfortable, punch him again.
Yeah.
Man, is this like man trapping for sport and profit or something? Jesus Christ.
It
this
could
is
be.
fucking awful.
There's a couple of different things working here.
Okay.
This is going to be a 1-2 punch of accounts. Obviously, we've got
Sweet.
the Dublin Demonoid and
Okay.
the Kamikaze Man Squirrel. But it's going to be in a broader context of what we're going to be describing as, and we'll get to the etymology of it all, the Oz factor.
Okay.
So, without further motherfucking ado, those who stumble into an unexpected paranormal encounter are often left with intense, lingering sensations of fascination, fear, and confusion. But for an unlucky few, these confrontations with the unknown are so brutal and bizarre that it leaves the experiencer with physical and often more traumatically psychological scars that can mark them for the rest of their lives.
This is not going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun
I
one.
don't know, man.
Scars, dude.
I'm already, there's emotional trauma, there's scars.
So lifelong emotional and physical and psychological scars, and suddenly you're thinking, this isn't Six Flags.
It's been a long week.
The cases we're going to explore tonight deal less with what would seem, on the surface at least, to be cryptozoological phenomenon, and more with a fundamental shift in reality itself, or at minimum, our shared perception of it. In fact, what we seem to be dealing with here is what legendary British author and ufologist Jenny Randalls accurately dubbed the Oz factor.
Ooh.
Okay.
According to Randalls, the Oz factor is the, quote, sensation of being isolated or transported from the real world into a different environmental framework, end quote. Encyclopedia.com, the most broad spectrum of resources.
Yeah, you went deep with this one.
Eat it.
You went
It still
all the
beats
way to
Wikipedia.
Encyclopedia.com.
Elaborated, stating, quote, this other environment is quite similar to the real world, but changed enough to be noticeable and disturbing. Such reports have been common in both UFO and paranormal accounts, but have been pushed aside, their evidential value being somewhat limited, until Randalls called attention to such experiences as a common element in some types of UFO encounters, end quote. So basically what we're dealing with here is you get this feeling of being isolated and that there is a shift. Now, I know recently Mark and I did a Patreon with Pepe where we talked about literally reality shifting, which is this sort of Instagram, I don't even know what generation it is now. What's the new young generation?
It's
There's
I don't know.
Y,
Are they still the Zoomers?
Zoomers?
Yeah.
Is that the newest ones?
It could be. But,
the newest
but
one.
basically what we came to the conclusion of, and anyone can hear this on our Patreon, if they sign up, is that that mostly this is being used to fulfill sexual fantasies and to like kind of live out a video game dream, or
Yeah.
more often than not to fuck Draco Malfoy of all weird things at Hogwarts.
Oh, I thought it was like that Ron Weasley dude or something.
No, nobody
Okay.
wants to fuck Ron Weasley.
Are you sure? I don't know, man.
Well,
I mean,
Hermione,
Hermione
Granger,
clearly did.
But yeah,
Okay,
but
yeah.
beyond that,
That bastard.
no.
Oh. I mean, I don't care.
There it is.
Oh,
Good for him,
Chris has a crush on
fucker.
Hermione.
Oh, adorbs. So anyway, that kind of reality shifting is literally trying to put yourself into what is in our universe of fictional reality, what is in the, I guess, infinite expanse of the multiverse of potential reality, and you do it. This is more like an accidental shifting into a reality that is almost identical to our own, but just fucking skewed.
I was hoping Magonia, but it's not Magonia.
Oh, it could be.
Oh, okay, all right.
There's
cool. Maybe
no
there's
reason to
Magonia.
assume it's not Magonia-esque.
Okay, cool. I love it. I'm
Right.
there.
Okay. Whether we're dealing with a fundamentally physical transdimensional shift wherein individuals are somehow transported into a secondary reality, or alternately, a rare brain disorder, perhaps the equivalent of a microseizure, that for reasons unknown result in a basic shift in human perception, allowing one to experience layers of realities that are not readily apparent to most observers, is unknown. Possibly the factors at play are completely unfathomable. Or perhaps, as skeptics might suggest, these perceived quote-unquote reality shifts exist nowhere but in the observer's imagination. In particular, individuals with a trait known as fantasy-prone personality.
Oh, what's that?
That is not It's not considered a condition. It's not considered a problem. But what it is considered is it's a trait or just a disposition where you are prone to getting lost in fantasy worlds, where you probably had a lot of imaginary friends growing up,
Okay.
where
All right,
you
cool.
are much more prone to hallucinations, much more prone to being able to be hypnotized, and are inclined to slip the surly bonds of consensus reality and kind of join a world that is of your own making.
Sounds fucking cool as shit.
But it's not considered like a diagnosable, treatable condition like that. It's not considered like a mental disease.
Is it like mushrooms on demand?
It's sort of
You're just
kind of like that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, fucking I like it. All right, it's cheaper.
No doubt. Whatever the answer may be, it seems that some supernatural episodes involve more than just the fleeting sighting of an unknown animal or unidentified object. Some may represent a total, if temporary, reality makeover, one which leaves its victims perplexed and, as likely as not, terrified that their eerie odyssey into the unknown could resume without warning. And this is something I can identify with. I think everyone's had moments where reality just didn't quite click. And we can attribute it to a lot of things. Poor diet, drug abuse, an undue amount of anxiety, recent tragedy. There's lots of psychological and physiological factors that make you, or just waking up from a really icky, fucked up dream where it takes you a while, at least for me,
few
to get
hours sometimes.
into lockstep with what feels like quote unquote normal reality. So there's a lot of things like this, both diagnosable conditions and just ill shit that people go through on a nearly daily basis. But this is something that seems to be like one step fucking beyond. And what I said I could identify is that whole idea of, I went through a long stretch in my late teens of really having a hard time relating to reality in a kind of functional way after the passing of my dad, especially. A lot of it now I realize it's just part of the process of losing somebody and the stress of, I don't know, being a high school senior and not knowing what you're going to do with life and all these other things. But part of my mind at the time was like, I'm watching like the fundamental strings of the tapestry of reality unravel around me, and I don't trust that tree.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was like a couple fucking years of my life.
You turned on trees?
I didn't turn on them because trees are always allies to me.
All right, good.
King tree.
Good.
I still got your back. And also, I'm not going to make enemies of, the ultimate intelligent force on Earth. And I'm not going to debate that right now.
Okay, fine.
But that having been said, I didn't rely on reality for a while.
Okay.
So I can take this idea of fear that things are slipping. Obviously, I've come to terms with it in a lot of different ways since then. But these shifts can happen to almost anyone. And for most people, I think that you feel it, and it's just an ick. That's the only way to put it. It endures for a while, and then it goes away. But for certain people, it opens up, it seems, either, again, as we said earlier, a portal that it takes them to a world that looks a hell of a lot like their own, but is full of shit that's not, or an ability to put on like H.P. Lovecraft's From Beyond, that fucking resonator, and see the shit that's always around you that you just normally can't fucking see.
Super creepy shit.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. The first encounter we're going to be dealing with was published on the Essential Phantoms and Monsters website on November 17th, 2015. The experiencer was Thomas Sheridan, the longtime host of the UK-based political and conspiracy-laden radio program Velocity of Now. That's so fucking...
The velocity of now.
I don't know, it's so fucking edgy.
Yeah, it's like sweaty and screamy, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
During a 2013 episode of the show, Sheridan revealed a strange series of confrontations he'd experienced in his youth with some decidedly bizarre beings. The incident in question occurred in 1981 as he biked home from work on what at first seemed to be yet another ordinary night, but would quickly unravel into a slow descent into madness. The quotes were transcribed by Jamie Bryan from Sheridan's on-air account. Quote, "When I was 17 or 16, I was working in a restaurant in Dublin. I was washing dishes because it was my part-time job. I would work late into the evening and get off at 1 in the morning, and then I would cycle a couple of miles home. It was perfectly safe back then, end quote. While the crime rates may have been negligible in the early 80s, Sheridan would soon discover that the remainder of his night would be anything but perfectly safe. He continued, seemingly describing a total immersion into what can only be referred to as the Oz factor. Quote, while I was cycling along, I had left the building that I was in, and I suddenly felt as though I had entered into an altered state of consciousness. I can't explain it. It was like I was in a dream, but I was awake. I was still going home from my job, but I felt like I was in a movie. End quote. His first encounter would be eerie, yet explicable. Quote, I was walking down the street with my bicycle, and I looked at this woman. This woman stared at me from a second-floor window in a very strange sort of way. She looked like a ghost or something. I thought it was freaky, so I started cycling, end quote.
You're right.
That's what you do. You know, you're just walking down the street, and then there's the eerie woman who's just staring. And it's 1 in the morning, and on a presumably, I don't know, dark outside of Dublin Street. I don't know.
Lionel Richie taught us. Hello? Start singing. Is it me,
you're looking for?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I wasn't sure.
That's not
I'm dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Running with the night. I'm like,
You got to make the connection, man. It's like one of those lost connections on
didn't know.
Craigslist. 1 in the morning, cycling. Kind of cute.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, see?
Well, you're right. This is also every like music video that we grew up with in our childhood. Like pre-1984, it's raining. A woman is standing in a white dress on a second-floor window, her hand pressed against the glass. The hot bike guy is going by. They look up. They make contact. Why is she locked in the house? Why can't she get out?
Dude,
is her husband keeping her down?
The pages start turning.
Are her
and
parents holding her back?
yeah.
The cartoons are moving. The weird biker guys come
All
over
right,
the
it's
bikes.
not Aha. This is not Aha.
I love Aha.
There's a place for Aha.
Jesus,
damn it.
I know.
All right,
But this
fine.
is not it.
Fine.
This is one of those like turn around bright eyes, creepy dark early 80s. Not like the hoppy poppy bullshit that you're into.
Is this like Eyes Without a Face?
Yeah, that's along those.
I was waiting for Chris because I know he hates it.
Piece
It's a
Piece of fucking shit. But no, that would be enough to like just change your.
Yeah, if you see that, you're gonna
No,
be
it's
like,
To just
you
put
know-
your brain in a weird state. Like if you're already prone to like what you're saying earlier, right?
yes.
You see something like that, all of a sudden something clicks, and now things start feel weird immediately.
yeah, you're automatically
Indifferent.
You're kind of getting yourself into
100%. And I'm all about addressing all sorts of
Just for the specific
pedestrian things. But I will say this one thing. He did say that before he saw the woman is when he had that alternate reality sort of feeling that made him feel as if he was in a movie. And
Right.
then he looked up. But it makes sense too. Maybe he just misremembered it. That I know if something freaky happens when I used to be a late night walker, which was all the time. Chris is right. That can put you into a shifted frame of
Yeah, for
reference.
sure.
Suddenly, it's not like a really pretty autumn night where you're hearing the rustling of leaves. It's an outtake of fucking a John Carpenter film from that era, and you're hearing the slow, creepy synths, and you're getting stalked, and it's just getting worse
that's
and
it.
worse.
It's night of all werewolves.
Yeah.
Instantaneously.
100%.
And you're like, well, I guess I'm dead.
Tonight is the night of all werewolves. I hope you're ready.
So, still slathered in the miasma of this altered state and unnerved by the woman's haunting glare, Sheridan's next run-in would be a little more difficult to explain. Quote, next, I was going down the road, and in front of me, this enormous white owl flies in my path. But its wings were beating so slowly, there's no way those wings could have kept it airborne. You know what I mean? The wings were going too slowly. And that was the first time I ever seen an owl in my life.
Well,
This thing was enormous, and it was white, and it flew slowly in front of me into the park, end quote.
So weird slow motion owl, large slow motion owl.
Which is definitely keeping in that era of music videos,
guess.
by
I was
the way.
going to say, why in my mind am I seeing this?
Rainy girl in the window.
Yeah.
No, it's not raining. I added that part. And then the slow owl.
slow,
the
enormous
slow flutter owl.
turn around white owl.
So the thing that gets me about this is, all right, granted it's his first owl. And everyone has a first owl. And
There's no
can
way
be a
it could be
pretty disturbing
flying.
thing.
owls don't fly; they levitate.
I wish he had estimated its size.
That would
Yeah.
have helped.
Because saying how big it is impressive, but we know owls get pretty fucking big.
Owls are fucking
Dude,
enormous.
and they don't weigh a lot. They're all leg.
Yeah, that's true
yeah,
too.
they really are. Yeah,
It's like a tennis ball on like fucking.
There's nothing to them at all. They're so weird
Toothpicks.
and yeah.
And every asshat that wants to fucking debunk Flatwoods will throw giant fucking owls in your face.
Don't you even talk about owls and flatwoods in the same goddamn sentence.
You
on
know
this
I'm not a
podcast,
supporter
you
of that.
Sons of bitches.
So
I will see you
owl
off
with a
the internet,
cloak?
good sir.
I don't necessarily fucking think that it might have been like an unbelievable size for an owl.
All right, well, it's a weird, slow,
But
slow-mo owl.
the slow beat,
Yeah.
that's something anyone can recognize. Yes.
Eyes without a face, and the fucking thing just flies away with no face,
is
no eyes. It just
Understandably weird.
What the fuck? All right.
sucks. All right, cool.
The teenager increased his speed, no doubt wary of what other weirdness might present itself around the next bend. But the remainder of his trip was uneventful. Still, Sheridan's interlude with the unknown was far from over and was about to get much more terrifying. Quote, "Then I get home, okay, and I fall asleep, still feeling the sense of altered state of consciousness. I wake up in the morning, the sun was risen about 5 or 6 a.m., and I look around behind me, and I had a sensation that there was someone else in the room. Sheridan's eyes finally locked onto the trespasser. In his words, quote, "In the corner of the room, there was what looked like a monkey. Now, a monkey or an ape or a midget or something," his words, not mine, "with hairy fingers. It was standing in the room looking around as if it was trying to figure out where it was, trying to make sense of its location. But as soon as I made eye contact with this thing, it was almost like it locked onto the target and knew where it was," end quote.
Oh, no. So,
Okay, well, it's weirder. Things are weirder.
yeah, things
It's getting
things
weirder.
they are escalating quickly.
A monkey alone is disturbing. A smaller ape like a chimp
But
or something like that, that's terrifying.
If he thinks it's like a little person with hairy
Well,
hands,
so basically what we're getting is humanoid and hairy. And there's
Yeah.
going to be an even weirder comparison
okay,
later.
all right.
But to wake up and you see this thing panicking in your room. Like, the fuck, where am I? What's going on?
Yeah, that's
That
weird.
to me is a really fascinating dynamic. And we'll definitely get into that, the idea of like, what the like it's not you're not the victim at this point.
No,
It's the victim.
This thing
It's like,
crossed realities all of a sudden. All
why
right,
the fuck
well,
am I here? What's going on? And then it sees you and it's like, oh, I know why I'm fucking here.
Oh, it's on.
You're the guy.
You got to fight
John Connor.
You got to do this. Is the
Oh,
worst
shit.
Terminator ever.
Planet of the Terminator apes.
Oh God! All right.
It would be at that moment that the young dishwasher's world would be turned upside down when, with blazing speed, the hairy humanoid attacked. Quote, "It jumped across the room and landed on my back and started pounding on my back, sticking its fingers into my mouth."
Oh,
Okay,
like the
that's-
fucking the clutch.
The clutch.
Oh God, that's gross.
I could taste the sweat and feel the hair on its fingers.
Oh God,
Get it out of my mouth.
oh, it's so gross.
Well, I screamed and I got the thing and I threw it off. Good.
Solid.
Then I got up and I fainted.
Not good.
Okay.
And that makes sense. It's your adrenaline's pumping. You've already had a hell of a night.
Yeah, but you just made yourself a victim again.
Yeah.
You technically defeated it in round 1, and then round 2 you passed the fuck out.
And now you're donezo.
Exactly.
But not
Okay.
as. And when I woke up, everything was normal again. I didn't have the sense of being somewhere else. End quote.
Okay.
So at this point, you could say, did he shift back to his world after a long and weird night of being in Owl Crazy Lady Monkey Town?
I did the acid wear off.
Or did the dose that
yeah.
he got at the restaurant and is, going home pint, which I'm sure in Ireland in 1981, when you're a 16-year-old dishwasher, you're not going to be forced to go home sober.
There's fucking dosed this pint with acid.
And I'm
with
not
your good
throwing.
luck.
No, I didn't say acid. I just mean you're going to have a pint or two, I imagine.
Right, but if somebody fucking hit him with something with it,
Exactly.
you gave him a little fucking fun juice.
And restaurants, as we all know, are notorious fucking just dens of fucking substance
Some
abuse.
of the most reliable drug dealers I've ever met.
Absolutely.
honestly.
So
Thank you all for your service.
He didn't mention that. You would think he would, but we cannot discount it.
Okay.
We absolutely cannot discount it. All right, so here's a little postscript to this. Sheridan also noted that years after his surreal skirmish with what we've dubbed the Dublin Demonoid, he was astounded to see a monster that was depicted in an unfortunately unidentified Swiss painting that looked exactly like the thing that had assaulted him, forcing Sheridan to wonder if the artist had encountered the same beast. Now, I don't know who the artist is. I don't know who the painting is.
I know
Yeah,
I don't know how many
that's
centuries old the painting might be.
It's a great little anecdote, but
yeah.
Present the painting.
later on, he saw a stamp, and there's a face that reminded him of the Night of the Owl. Can you believe it? Like,
There was a woman and an owl and a tiny ape with its fingers in my mouth punching me in my
I
back.
saw plenty of windows after this.
Every window was a window into my soul.
So it would be nice to know what it was he thought he saw.
Yeah, especially
And then to
if
get a
it's some
feel for
painting,
it.
like, if it's some Hieronymus Bosch shit, and you're like, oh, I saw that weird fucking skinny leg demon dude.
I can't help but my first instinct is to think it's like one of those old hag paintings, but obviously instead of old hags, they always had like a demon on the chest or
Yeah.
a fucking little hairy
Yeah,
monster.
doing a thing like
Yeah.
making you not breathe, or
Exactly.
like doing some handsy,
Yeah.
asshole handsy thing in your face.
Exactly.
Like,
Asshole
get the fuck-
hands magic. I hate that shit.
Fuck out of my face.
And that would kind of make sense too. I mean, if you want to trace this back to quote unquote legitimate paranormal endeavors, the idea of being randomly attacked in bed goes back, at least if you're going to trust, Renaissance and medieval artwork, a long fucking time.
Well, yeah.
And I know you can't. I mean, I know that's not unimpeachable fucking journalism. I get that, but at least the idea of it that got represented in art must have been out there to some degree. So to have this happen, and that's going to be a theme tonight, little foreshadowing of bedroom interlopers. But so. This is really, like I say, it's the Oz factor because it's on the nose. This guy Sheridan is just dead up. Like, I had this feeling, and like I said earlier, whether it's like emotional trauma or just
Right.
you've never gone through anything too heavy duty, and you just suddenly get this feeling. I think it's a universal. Once you've lived a certain amount of time in this life, you're like. You have that day where you're just walking, you're just going to a store, and it just feels dreamy,
Yeah, for sure.
And not dreamy, like, oh, this is a good like fantasy sequence, but like, this doesn't feel authentic. I know it is.
Right.
I know I'm doing what I'm doing, but it doesn't click. And I always attribute it, and this is probably a smart thing because it probably is 99.9% of the time, to a factor inside of me. Be it my own psychological perspective, or be it poor
for sure.
nourishment, or a massive hangover, which I've shockingly had many of, or any number of things.
Yeah.
And probably, again, 9 times out of 10 it is.
Right.
But every now and again,
If I get,
maybe not.
I haven't done it in a while, but if I get like super fucking high and I'm in a store, I'll start getting that. More often than not, I get it from anxiety, or if I'm just going through some hard shit or whatever. Especially with anxiety, I'm not like panic attacky. I'm like weird about the world.
Yes.
Where I'm just all fucking like just fucking spazzed out in my mind.
Oh, totally.
I prefer when I'm high, because then I just go to like the greeting cards and read them and look at whatever like pops and get lost in the home and garden section. And
Right.
I have fun. But the anxiety one, no, it's like I'm going to look at the pops. I'm leaving. I'm not going to get anything else. I don't need a bed. I don't need a new desk.
Wow.
Yeah. Welcome to my mind palace. It sucks.
Dang.
It's tough. None of us are strangers to anxiety.
No.
We all deal with it in our own way.
Yeah, we all do.
Okay. The next account, simply yet effectively titled Squirrel Monster.
I'll let the exclamation point.
Yeah,
Squirrel
definitely.
monster.
Squirrel Monster! And the monster's in quotes, but not the squirrel.
I love that.
Was also published on the Phantoms and Monsters website, this one on December 24th, 2019.
Oh, close to Christmas Eve there. It's Christmas Eve. Yeah.
No doubt. While the eyewitness didn't specifically note a change in his environment, there can be no doubt that the Oz factor might be at work here. The presumably American experiencer, who identified himself simply as DD, was...
Daredevil?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Matt Murdock.
Is it Matt Murdock?
It is Matt
Our
Murdock.
boy Daredevil?
Was on his very first hunting trip when he had a run-in with an unlikely attacker. He set the scene stating, quote, "When I was 15, my dad took me hunting for the first time. It was the middle of the day, so I decided to hunt small game. Found a good spot on a steep hill where a tree had fallen over that made a perfect place to sit. End quote. Although this was his freshman hunt, the inexperienced outdoorsman was proficient enough with his weapon that during the course of a mere 45 minutes, he managed to bag 8 fuck-sucking squirrels. I
He's
don't
a good
know.
shot.
Oh, he summoned the Squirrel King, didn't he?
Oh, dude.
Chris sees truth.
Oh, no.
I did. You just gave it away right there.
You killed too many.
You can't just kill 8
You can't
squirrels.
kill- Not in 45
minutes. No, then you awaken the fucking Squirrel King.
You're going to get Omni Squirrel. It's coming.
The Omni Squirrel. That's a much better title.
Omni Squirrel.
Oh, 8? Wait, but you did it in an hour and a half. No, 45 minutes. Oh, fuck.
You fucked up, son.
Son, you're going to meet the Omni Squirrel.
Yeah, God
And it
damn
ain't
it.
going to be pretty.
No. All right, so, I mean, the kid's a good shot, and he obviously has a career as a sniper, possibly. So, you know.
No doubt.
okay, cool.
It just seems like a lot. I mean, I know, listen, I'm an omnivore. I'm not, I've never hunt, but when people that go out and get to meet on their own, you got to respect it. They're doing their thing.
Yeah, I mean, good for you, man. You're fucking doing it.
So I don't
I'm
know
all
what
about
it's
it.
like, but boy, that's a lot of death in 45 minutes for your first day.
I mean, for squirrel, well, if he's a decent shot and he's making the shots, I mean, I'm sure you can use the squirrels and you can eat them, or you can like use their pelts.
One of the problems he's going to face, and this is where you become a prognosticator, Mark,
Okay.
is that not all of his shots were true.
Oh no.
One was false.
Omni Squirrel cometh.
It was then that the young hunter took aim at his 9th victim. Yeah, I use the word victim.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, you're not wrong.
He's hunting. He's not.
If he had killed 6 and he was going for his 7th, I would be like Quarry. But he's killing his fucking 9th. It's a victim.
Yeah, he's a mass murderer at this point.
He's got.
9th victim and pulled the trigger, wounding the tiny animal and triggering a course of events that would forever be seared into his memory.
Oh no.
In his own words, quote, "The one I just clipped was screaming in a lot of pain.
Oh, that's awful.
To this day, I feel bad about it." It was then that, with the agonized shrieks of the dying squirrel filling the air, that Dee was confronted with what was one of the scariest moments of his young life. Quote, "Next thing I know, I was being charged by this huge squirrel. It had this crazy hair and was twice the size, running full steam on the log I was sitting on. I took 5 panic-filled shots that I thought would be my last when little Rambo didn't flinch once and just jumped over my head and into the woods," end quote.
Dude, fucking nature strikes back. The squirrel's like, you may have killed my brothers and sisters. You ain't gonna fucking kill me.
It was
charges.
It's that last wounded one.
Damn.
The shrieking,
That's the one. He's like,
agonized.
I can't take no more goddamn death on this hill. I've stained my ground. I don't know why he sounds that way, but he fucking just jets. Yeah.
That's
And
the summoning shriek.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you've ever heard an actual cry from a squirrel, it is fucking
I've heard rabbits
awful.
scream.
Yeah,
and
rabbits and
that's
squirrels.
something that never
Squirrels
leaves
aren't
you.
as bad as rabbits, but squirrels are pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, like rabbits, cats in heat, fucking
Yeah.
squirrels. I don't know. There's certain sounds that even if I recognize them,
They're awful.
it's like ice water
Yeah.
down your gut.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like,
for sure.
oh.
So this guy gets charged by. Okay, so if he's saying it's what, double the size
Just
of a
it's a
regular
double
squirrel?
size. So all we got for this
So it's
guy
not really.
is
It's not gigantic.
crazy hair.
cat.
It's a cat. Yeah.
Well, no,
basically.
it's a squirrel. He
Well, but
recognized it
it's
as
a-
a squirrel.
No, I mean, it's not cat-wise.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the
A
size
double
of it.
squirrel is probably a cat.
Yeah,
Right.
really.
It's a crazy-haired double squirrel.
It could be like a whistle pig or something.
What the fuck is a whistle pig?
A fucking little woodchuck, a little whistle pig.
They call 'em- I've never heard such a thing. It's
never heard-
adorable. I love the phrase. It's my new favorite thing.
That's a little fucking whistle pig. You don't know about whistle pigs?
I never heard of that. in my
Really?
life.
Maybe it's a local thing. My dad catches them all the
We're
time.
from the same place, just so you know.
Yeah. I have them in my backyard. I look at them every day, pretty much.
fucking whistle pigs.
Yo,
We have a whole
hey, boy, let's go whistle pigging.
we have a whole whistle pig relocation program. My dad catches them in his garden, and he traps them, and we bring them down to work, and we let them go free into their new community.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they like live, and they laugh, and they love.
I hope.
and dig holes in concrete and cause structural damage. But you know what? That's the price we pay for being on their land.
You're right on.
There you go. So this thing charges them. Okay,
It does.
It's
but
a
then dives
squirrel-sized-
right over his head.
Right. Okay.
So it doesn't attack.
No, it. What's funny though is he gets 5 shots off, and he's sniping 8 of these fuckers.
Well,
He
here,
gets
let's-
5
let's
shots.
paint
Well, he
this
says
fucking
it's
picture.
just panic shots. It's charging him, so he's
Yeah,
probably
like bam, bam,
just
bam,
fucking-
bam. He's 15. It's his
Bang,
first
bang,
day.
He's a stormtrooper.
So
Can't hit
he's-
anything.
Oh, wow.
the
Unkind.
truths that cut so deep.
He's on a fallen log.
Okay.
This thing charges from the other side of the log. So you got to assume it's running at him sidelong.
Right.
So kid turns, DD turns. He's firing off, like Chris says, stormtrooper random. Pew, 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 boom. This thing flies at him. He probably falls back off the stump.
It is-
just as frizzy-haired double squirrel,
Right.
like the fucking Garfunkel of squirreldom, fucking scoots over his head,
That could be.
shoots into the woods, and that's
All right.
that.
Okay.
Yes.
So all right. Well,
Okay.
don't fuck with whistle pigs.
But this is not a whistle pig.
Okay.
You're just making words up now.
The whistle pigs.
Petrified, the young man quickly got up, quote, gathered my kills and got the hell out of there, end quote. He tore away from the scene, likely looking over his shoulder lest the raging rodent was in hot pursuit.
Okay.
When he arrived back at camp, he told his father about his harrowing experience. But, as is too often the case, he was greeted only with derisive laughter. After a while, even Dee Dee began to realize how ludicrous it was for him to have been so panic-stricken by a mere squirrel, even a specimen as large as the one that had nearly attacked him. He recalled, quote, thinking back, it was pretty funny, end quote.
I don't know.
As the days turned to weeks, Dee Dee's recollections of his frightening encounter began to soften and ebb until the whole episode became little more than a silly memory. That would be until his next nighttime confrontation with an inexplicable horror brought all of the fear flooding back.
The return.
The return. The young narrator revealed, quote, not sure if this is related or not, but as a kid I always had trouble sleeping, and even as an adult. Anyway, a couple weeks after our hunting trip, I couldn't sleep. My room was downstairs. Everyone else was up. So on this night, I decided to try and sleep on the floor. I had a big closet that was to the left of the room and right next to where I was lying down. It didn't have a door. It was actually under the stairs, end quote.
Okay.
So you got a
Yeah.
fucking doorless closet
Okay.
with access to the people under the stairs, which was a shitty film, but a really good idea.
Yep.
Okay.
As if lying next to an open, shadow-ridden closet weren't already frightening enough, things were about to take an even more terrifying turn, according to D.D., quote, so I'm lying on my right side, facing the closet, just about to fall asleep, when something grabbed my right forearm. So I start screaming, trying to get this thing off me. I was punching and doing everything I could, but it wouldn't let go. Its hand covered half of my arm. I'm
Oh.
assuming width, not length,
That's-
because
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
a ginormous
Yeah.
hand.
It's pretty big, yeah.
As the terrified teen pounded against the shadowy, animal-like assailant, he began to realize, to his growing revulsion, that what was attacking him was unlike anything he'd encountered before.
Yeah, it's a fucking hand from the dark.
It's a hand from the dark.
Yeah, of course you never encountered it before.
It gets weirder.
Okay.
Quote, it scared me even more when I started to feel this thing's features. It had a huge head and was wrinkly with a pointed nose. It was wearing clothes and was 3 feet tall. End quote.
Oh.
The fuck?
So there it is. You get the squinchy, rodent-y, wrinkle face with the pointed nose.
Is
Yeah.
it Dobby?
You get the flannel shirt and the jeans.
Is it Dobby?
Yeah, it's a Dobby. And he's a full 3 foot tall.
Okay.
Give or take. I'm sure he didn't get accurate measurements. It could have been 2.5 to maybe 3.6.
I
Who
mean,
the
you'd
fuck
think
knows?
if this thing has you and you're just wailing it, it's only 3 feet tall.
Yeah, but animals can be strong.
Yeah, but man, if you get a couple decent shots,
I
being
don't
that
know,
small,
man. Have you ever had an animal latch onto you? Like, it doesn't get off that easily.
it's true. I was bit by a chihuahua once, and it just hung onto my shoe, and I just kind of.
And you were probably kicking full bore to get it off.
I was trying not to because I didn't want to fling it, and then when
when it bites you, you must fling the chihuahua.
It,
Yeah.
it wasn't breaking my shoe or piercing skin. It was just super pissed. And I'm
Right.
like, hey, ma'am, I'm trying to read your water meter. Could you just get your dog off of me? And she's like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's actually not.
No.
It's attached to me.
Yeah,
Like,
I love that. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah, I'm like, no, it's not. I don't want to hurt this thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
it's
No, you
miniature.
don't want to go. I mean, it's an animal just protecting its turf, but still, it's your fucking leg.
But yeah, all right. I mean, but still, Chihuahua, you know. I mean,
You
this
know,
thing's 3 foot
I've
tall.
been bit by snakes. I've been bit by a few animals. I'm trying to think of any mammals that might qualify. But I do know when something gets its teeth in you, it is not easy. You can flick it and use all your sweet
Right.
human strength and all the skills you think you've accumulated from years of Van Damme movies.
I
None of
was
that
gonna bring up
helps.
Dude, if you dip your fucking hands in the glue with the glass and you punch that thing, it's over.
All right, glass fist might help.
You just
Yeah,
have
at
it
that
laying
point.
next to you in your weird closet stairs.
you got to always keep
Broken
your
glass and
glass
fucking
and glue,
glue. All right.
close,
glass
dude.
and glue.
You know when you got to fucking
The
dip
tongue
and,
po attack. I've got to be ready.
you don't know when you got to dip and punch. Come on,
All right.
man. Did Kumite teach us nothing?
That's fair.
There you go.
That was Bloodsport.
I know. I mixed the movies together. It's okay.
That was Bloodsport.
It's all the same shit.
Oh, bite your tongue.
It's all the same Van Damme shit. Continue.
In a desperate bid for survival, the boy managed to get to his feet and reach toward the lamp beside his bed in order to see his inhuman assailant. But in classic horror film tradition, quote, the first light I tried to turn on wouldn't.
Of course.
So I
Okay.
lunged for the closet light. It, thank God, worked. And it was gone just like that.
When he popped the light on,
Popped
it
the light on.
disappeared?
Of course,
Vanished.
again. Yeah.
Huh.
So he didn't even get to see if he was wearing like a
Okay.
sweet leisure suit, if he was dressed like, you know, early 90s Seattle grunge, which is the way I imagine him with like a flannel.
Eddie Vedder.
Yeah,
He's
like
got like a Melvin shirt
a
on.
Melvin shirt, like over the long johns with the tore up fucking Levi's.
Oh no, the fucking Doc Martens.
Docs, of course,
Nice.
yes.
Fucking Jeremy's fucking spoken, dude.
The baffled and no doubt traumatized Dee Dee ended his harrowing tale stating, quote, this is not a story, and just wondering if anyone has info or a thought. Could it have been the squirrel shapeshifter protecting his woods followed me home to give me a good scare? Man, only God knows, end quote.
I mean, I think Chris already kind
Squirrel
of
shapeshifter.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the guardian of the woods, the Omni Squirrel.
Well, the Omni Squirrel is first he's attacked by the double frizzy squirrel. The Omni Squirrel might be the one that is more of like an elemental environment protector
Yeah, and it shows up.
that shows up and is like, I'm assuming partial human form. I'm growing to my full 3-foot stature. Fear me.
Okay.
I'm also wearing my best duds. I also have a really pointy face. I also know how to fucking hang out in your closet until
Yeah.
you're sleeping.
Okay.
And I can lunge.
I don't see this as the Omni Squirrel though. Like I don't see it as a squirrel at all.
Well, there's nothing to
Yeah, yeah.
designate.
No.
Right.
It's not like you said, and I felt its full bushy tail.
Yeah, like pointy nose and like
Full bushy tail.
No, I mean, at this point, it could be, well, it's probably not a human.
it's probably
3 feet
the
tall with a
pumpkin head of
squishel
squirrels.
face.
It's what
Oh.
squirrels summon for revenge.
So like a golem or something like that, like the deific wrath that
mean,
you can conjure up. To
All
No.
species have a revenge.
Yeah, dude.
It just
demon.
makes sense.
In the squirrel realm, where Pumpkinhead is real, this is what happened.
All right, let's
They
finish this
called
up.
upon the witch to bring back Pumpkinhead.
And you know what? There's 2 things about Pumpkinhead. One,
It's awesome.
I love Lance Henriksen, so that
for
was
sure.
not one. That's just a
And
fact.
2, it's awesome.
I love Stan Winston. All right, no,
Yep.
I'm not going to give you it's awesome. It's too slow.
It's really
not
slow.
gory enough.
No.
It's not satisfying enough. It has decent ideas. That's the one. 2, it should have had a fucking pumpkin head. It should have been a monster with a fucking
I know what
pumpkin
you're
head.
saying.
Nothing has ever pissed me off more. I'm like, yeah, that's a cool
Dude.
design. You basically did a lumpy alien, and I know
Yeah,
Winston
for
was
sure.
most famous for aliens, but you
reinvented it.
or it should have worn like a giant like jack-o'-lantern evil head and then taken it off and had a monster head.
Dude.
But don't be called fucking Pumpkinhead and not be a goddamn Pumpkinhead. I wanted basically a horror film that was like the Great Pumpkin.
That's what I
Bloodbath.
thought was going to
Okay.
be that
Thank
too.
you.
Big
Well, we all
Pumpkinhead
are-
monster, but
All right. Well, I still
regardless.
listen.
Regads.
Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living.
Okay.
Okay. Don't get near him.
Wrapping this up, breaking this down.
Okay.
It is difficult to say whether or not Dee Dee's experience, assuming that it was genuine, represents a slip into an alternate reality wherein 3-foot squirrel men get dressed in order to hide inside a teen's closet in preparation for a late-night ambush, or if we're dealing with what the minds behind Beyond Creepy dubbed a forest wraith. And I heard this episode of them, and again, it's a great show
like
beyond
this.
creepy. And they suggest it was a forest wraith, which isn't the omni squirrel that Chris presented,
Yeah.
vengeance force that
brought,
animals can
brought
conjure.
upon by the mass murder of 8 squirrels in under 45 minutes.
Obviously, we know these things can exist, and the reason I say that is because the human race would be a hollowed out core of flesh because of the damage we do to animals.
It's true, yeah.
But regardless, again, okay. Maybe, inexplicable as it may be, the forest and closet attacks were unrelated incidents that just happened to affect the same kid within a few weeks' time. Stranger things have happened, though not much stranger. What is clear is that what attacked Dee Dee from the shadows of his horrible doorless closet was not a traditional cryptid. And what's even more clear is that while UFOs might fly above and slippery sea beasts may slither through the depths below, there are things with which we occasionally share our world that are unaccountable in traditional zoology or even logic itself.
Oh, the Oz effect.
The Oz effect.
Dang.
All right, well, I've put out my interdimensional theory many a time.
Surely.
And this obviously plays into it.
Well, this is the best case scenario
Well,
you've ever had for it.
It is, but if we are talking about like a slip in reality, is it a matter of is it a slip in reality or a shared reality?
How do you mean?
So if you're talking about like a reality slip where you go from like one reality to another, where things seem a little bit off, or
Right.
if it's an actual like a full shift,
Right.
Of like you're in one spot and then I know it sounds kind of the same, but I'm thinking more like I think one is like more physical and one's like psychological. So you have like a psychological slip into something that's maybe not there where like you're seeing something, or it's just some otherworldly I know it sounds fucking weird, but to me it would be like two different things. Like I guess
No, I agree.
You're physically doing it or you're mentally doing it.
And
Where you're
I
perceiving.
wouldn't simply limit it to those two things.
Okay.
But I agree, because here's what I would say. If it's physical, is it you are physically moving into a dimension or
Right.
reality that looks nearly identical to yours, but is inhabited with different kinds of intelligences, animals, random girls, slow-moving owls.
Yeah, slow-flapping owls.
You know, angry, well-dressed squirrels. And that you're dealing with it. Or is it a reality shift in the sense that these things always exist around us, going
Yes.
back to, again, the
Right.
Lovecraftian idea of, but for some reason, most of us can't perceive them, and they can't perceive us.
Right.
But when we occasionally, through circumstances, I don't know, it could be anything from like the right electromagnetic fucking flux from a thunderstorm
fucking ley lines, dude.
to exactly whatever.
Quartz deposits.
Fucking window areas,
5G.
vortices, 5G.
5G.
There it is.
Yeah. God.
But for whatever reason, both of these would be reality. We always share the same reality but don't know it, or you are shifting from one reality to another. Now, the other side of that coin, and obviously we're not dealing with skeptical ideas here, just
Right.
Fortean ideas, would be that it is in your head, but that through, I guess, an ability to either manifest Tulpa-like because for some reason either your environment or your brain chemistry has allowed you to do this, you are manifesting these things in the real world, or that you're encountering something that only can live in your imagination, but in that most terrifying Freddy Krueger-esque way, it can still affect your physical being.
Yeah.
Those would be like
so
the
it's more
two
like,
paranormal sides of physical versus psychological.
Right. So if like you're manifesting something that maybe you're not consciously aware of, but subconsciously you manifest these
Which
things.
still makes it physical, even if it starts psychological.
Exactly, yeah. So you're actually taking it from the psychological, bringing it into the physical. There's a lot there. I mean, I love it. I think it's fucking dope. You know how I feel about interdimensional beings and things. I think it's fucking great. I kind of like it better as a place and not a fucking mind palace, because that would suck, but...
Well, I mean...
Window areas are always kind of my jam.
I'm definitely more intrigued with the idea of leaving our reality and going into an alternate one,
Right.
like the Upside Down again with Stranger Things, though
Yeah.
not as
Yeah.
overtly horrific and full of like dandruff and shadows.
It's just all...
Yeah,
It's all
everything's dandruff these days, though, in those movies. It's always
always
floaty.
the dangle.
Yeah.
Like it's both Fallout and dead skin. It's just
Yeah, everything's
shitty.
that. but-
Yeah, I think I blame like Silent Hill
Silent
for
Hill.
that.
Oh, Silent
Yeah,
Hill.
Where it's just all
yeah,
it's
definitely
all
started it.
dandruff and no sun. It sucks. What a bummer to vacation at.
Totally. But I'm definitely intrigued with the idea of being able to visit this place. Even though it's terrifying, I would be terrified to get stuck there. That's where the Magonia reference comes into play.
Right.
Or those poor people that say they've been gone for like 3 hours, but they left their family for 15 years and their daughter's all grown up, their wife died, and the farm has gone to seed. And they're like, the fuck, I just partied for one night with these elves. And
next thing you know.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
or those people were shit that never come back.
Oh,
and then
man.
maybe you go to this place and you fall in love with the girl who's touching the glass with her lonely hand.
And you ride the owl together?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the sweet, slow owl takes you to your honeymoon and you fall in love and you're like, she doesn't talk much and she's half translucent, but love is love.
That's right.
The
Yeah.
heart does what it will.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I don't know, fucking monkey Swiss demonoid fucking becomes your best buddy. He's the best man at your wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chaka.
You know, he attacked you because he was scared too. I mean, you wake up in his bedroom and he assumes Chaka, perfect reference. Chaka assumes you're fucking infiltrating his house. You're the home invader.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
like,
you
the
become
fuck?
Yeah, then you become friends.
Just the best of
And then your
friends.
neighbors. Okay.
And you homebrew together.
All
You do
right.
all sorts
You
of fun shit.
You make beer together.
Start a brewery.
Yeah, there
Start a
you
craft
go.
brewery.
Fucking
You can call it Slow Owl Brewery, and
Yeah.
you fucking have your logo and you're in love. And you're thinking, I don't want to go home and wash dishes in Dublin anymore. I found my home.
Yeah.
And it's
Home.
at Slow Owl Brewery.
Home is
Yeah, I
where
know.
you find your Chaka. Your Chaka. All right. So yes, interdimensional, emotional, whether it's an emotional manifestation or a physical presence in being. Skeptically, though.
Yeah, we have to do this.
Let's
We have
go.
to.
Chris, get your fucking 2 guns ready, buddy. You better fucking get them loaded up.
I mean, it's always acid.
Right.
Drugs, dope, or diabetes.
So,
But these both start fairly normal, and then just something after that goes bonkers.
awry. Yeah.
Kind of goes off of a cliff. Yeah.
So it's
So
like a fine
the
shotgun in the
Sheridan-
corner.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Omni Squirrel in the closet.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
It definitely builds. And what happened to Dee Dee is definitely different from what happened to Sheridan. Sheridan is a classic, Oz factor, but it's also, like Chris was saying, it's a de-evolution. Now, I don't know, like, if he was into drugs. I mean, 81, I remember my aunts, I was very, very young, but I remember aunts and uncles partying pretty fucking hard, getting high at like because our house was always the place that had the family reunions or the graduation parties.
Yeah.
And, behind the tree, the Dubage, the Devil's Lettuce, and the fucking Pat
Dubage.
Benatar albums. And, it was
Yeah,
just
but-
a time.
It's
Dinosaur.
not going to happen with weed.
No, it's not. But
No.
but who knows what else is going
Right.
on?
I mean, a little PCP. We all remember Angel Dust in the 80s. Remember? It makes
the
you jump out
horror show.
windows.
Everyone, you're going to think you're Superman. You're going
Yeah.
to think you're being chased by a demon. You will end up splatted on the pavement.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Disco Godfather, the Rudy Ray Moore film? It
No,
it
it
was his
sounds cool,
attempt
though.
to do a pseudo-exploitation film where he was the owner and DJ of a disco club, and he wore just the coolest one-piece, like, sequin bodysuit. But then his nephew has a bad PCP trip. Fucking ends up dying, I think. He ends up going toe-to-toe in a revenge film against the PCP dealers, gets dosed with PCP, and the last act of the film is having a nightmarish fantasy through PCP hell.
Nice.
Fucking Dolomite himself.
Fuck yeah.
God.
I can't, in good conscience, say it's a great movie. I can say if you like weird shit, and I do, find it immediately.
I mean, are we promoting the use of PCP?
No, I'm promoting the use
No,
of fucking
it's just
Dolomite.
everything was in the 80s.
Yeah, everything.
Rudy
If there's a
Ray
drug
Moore
thing, then fucking Merton rigs show up, and they're like, yeah, it's PCP.
Yeah, PCP.
Fucking Angel Dust
All right,
rigs.
so this guy gets dosed. Sheridan gets slipped something. One of his coworkers is just a fucking jackass. Maybe it's a fucking a tab. Maybe you don't slip someone fucking shrooms. Maybe it is something terrible like PCP. But let's assume it's just a little bit of acid. Maybe
All right,
just a
well,
little drop in.
Some drug is
Yeah.
going to fuck you up. That could
He's
happen.
walking home. There's just a lady standing in her window looking out. 1 a.m. No big deal.
He
gets
reads
freaked
into
out.
it. He
I
gets
would get
freaked
freaked out
out,
by
yeah.
that dead sober.
Yeah,
in all
for sure.
fairness.
Yeah,
Totally.
right.
And then slow motion owl. That's absolutely something you would see dosed. Something moving unnatural and slow, like, again, a bad early 80s music video.
Yeah.
Owl
Yeah.
without a face. Fucking,
Well.
you would be like, oh my God. But then you're still like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep going home. And then you wake up and you still have this twisted feeling. And suddenly you're wrestling with this fucking ape man. And then you pass out and you wake up and it's worn off. And you're just like, oh, well, wasn't that the shit?
Yeah.
That night was something else.
Definitely has hallucination.
You can't You can't take dosage out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds there was a circus in town and it really just was an owl and a fucking monkey in his fucking room?
Just escape.
and he was fucked up. He was just fucking hammered, but he really did get attacked by a monkey.
Slow motion fucking owl. The monkey follows him home. There's fight.
Because that's literally what a monkey would do because they're assholes and they'll attack you.
Oh, they
Yeah.
would.
And
Like a monkey
try to rip your face off.
that accidentally
Yeah.
got lost in your house would look panicked and afraid, like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right.
It doesn't have to be
you
an
make eye. That's why they say
monkey.
don't make eye contact because
Then you
fuck
look
you
at
up.
it and it knows what it has to do.
It's like a bear.
Tear your face off
No,
and
that's-
shit down your throat.
Don't
Yeah.
don't look into a primate's eyes.
Yeah,
That's the deal.
It is exactly what it would do.
Yeah.
The only thing that throws this for a loop a little, and I agree, Chris is absolutely right in all of this. This could just be circus antics and a teenage with a fucking
Circus
buzz.
antics.
But is this Swiss painting, this mysterious fucking Swiss painting that might depict something that looks exactly like a chimp, or
I mean, then again,
might be a weird hairy demon?
if you experience
And he
that,
used
aren't you?
the little person reference, and he wasn't sure ape, monkey,
Right.
little
Yeah,
person.
that's
We
right,
don't know if
right.
it has a tail. We don't
Right.
know what it is.
Right.
Chaka seems to be the most
Yeah.
apt thing. You know, it really does seem like a
I mean,
monkey boy.
if you did experience this, wouldn't you be kind of always looking for something similar to it, like the rest of your life?
Every day.
You'd think you would.
Not
I
if he secretly knows that he was fucked up.
Well, yeah,
and he was like,
all right.
well, maybe that played into it, but I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to say that
I'm
in
gonna
the
still
story.
look
but-
for it. Yeah, I mean, so maybe he wants to find it. He needs to find it to have some kind of closure. And then he finds it in a painting, and he's like, "Oh no."
We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It depends on your personality type. Some people can pack that shit away.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
exactly.
people, it
can't,
starts
man.
a mild interest where it's like, I do want to find out what this is. And other people, as I've said, probably me, if you see something like this, it's such a fundamental shift in the paradigm of what you recognize reality to be.
It'll change
That
it,
as much
yeah.
as I've been interested in this, and we've talked about this as friends long before we even did the podcast, and we're just fascinated by this kind of stuff. To know it's real, I know we just talked about this recently, changes fucking everything.
I got things to do, man. I got to pay taxes.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
I got shit to do.
I-
Most
I
people
don't
can shovel it to the
time for
back.
that.
I don't
No.
know if I had monkey fingers in my mouth with their sweat and their hair.
Oh God, so gross.
I don't know if I would.
Do you
be.
bite? Do you bite down?
Oh, yeah, you gotta bite the monkey fingers.
Snap them. And start rip
It
'em
depends,
off.
I guess. Is he really trying to rip your face apart
Dude,
as
if you-
monkeys are wont to do?
If you
I don't know.
fucking, dude, if you lock on that
Regardless,
fucking finger and you just
If you're
pop
dead
it off-
sober and all that happened to you, I don't think you can just wake up the next morning and get past it.
No.
No, there's no
Like
way.
if all this shit happened,
that
I went
taste.
home and I was
Oh.
like, I think there's a baby rhino in the corner, and it's fucking, and it stabs my ankles, and I'm dead sober, and there's marks on me, and I know baby rhino attacked me, and I passed out. I wake
And
up
then
and
it
be
was
like,
gone.
why was this fucking little rhino
No.
attacking me in
but
my
baby
fucking
rhinos are
corner?
so adorable. They're just tiny little guys. Just little fucking.
That has
miniatures.
nothing to do with it attacking
Nothing
me
at
in my
all.
corner.
Oh, God.
Especially if it was like an impossibly miniature rhino, like a foot and a half long with like a razor sharp
Oh, like a
horn.
full size rhino,
yeah.
but it's a miniature.
just
Just
gouging
getting ready
at
to
your
charge,
ankle.
and I'm like, why are you
Weird.
charging baby rhino? And then it does.
Oh, that does.
Charging baby rhino.
Like if you're dead certain you know that you experienced that, I don't think. How do you just?
Yeah, how do you just go back to like you're like, oh yeah,
Right.
that's fine.
We're all in the same
That,
boat.
I mean,
I don't think
like
you
dead
can.
sober, especially. Like if I had 26 beers in, I might be like,
Yeah.
maybe I was the baby rhino, and I stabbed myself.
Yeah, maybe
But-
it was a pile of clothes and a
Yeah.
coat hanger, and I fucking started to fill in the gaps.
Oh,
Right.
God.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
this first
All right.
thing
Yeah. So it's
is either probably a fundamental reality shift wherein either he went to another reality or he was able to see things that, and they were able to see him that ordinarily would not be observable.
Right.
Which I'm also fascinated by. Like there's always a girl in that house. There's always a slow-mo owl.
Yeah.
And there's always been a fucking hateful monkey man in your room. But they can't see you and you can't see it except for some reason that night. One of those two horrible possibilities. Obviously, diabetes and you had too many goddamn pieces of pie at the restaurant before you went home.
yeah.
yeah.
Some sort of or some sort of drug-induced or otherwise maybe epileptically triggered deep hallucination. And it seems like those are the things. Like this is definitely the case as many times as we've invoked it, where drugs seems the most likely by far.
Then again, if it is some kind of like medical thing, like a micro stroke or something, I mean, I'm
Right.
not really sure what
I don't know how
is.
that works either. I wrote the phrase micro seizure earlier in this article.
Micro seizure, yeah.
And I don't know. Like if you have a synaptic blackout, could it create this kind of thing?
Right.
I definitely researched the Oz Factor. It's not as much as you might think. Like, I've always been a fan of Jenny Randall's and her work, and I hold her in a lot of esteem and own a bunch of her books. And there's one, I think, Monsters Inside. I think that's what's called. Inside Monsters. No, I think it's Monsters Inside. That I definitely am going to pick up because I think it deals with this phenomenon in specific, and it would be very interesting to study the psychological perspective of that. And I also know that there are psychological conditions because, again, during the process of self-diagnosis, even though when I initially went through this, the internet didn't exist, of disengaging from reality.
Right, like a dissociative disorder.
Exactly.
Or yeah.
I mean, as a kid, I was truly fearing the inevitability of schizophrenia, and obviously they didn't have the kind of medications and treatment they do now.
Right.
And I had a next door neighbor that was a normal teen growing up, would play kickball with us, and then about 17 it struck her, and it was it was tragic, and it was terrible because you could tell she was suffering and her family was suffering, and so that really struck a chord with me when I was little because I was like, oh man. Yeah. Oh man, this can just come out of the blue, and in talking 80s like made-for-TV movies and stuff that and it's not to stigmatize it now. I mean, I know people that you can live with this. It's easily not easily. I mean, it's always going to be a challenge for
but
people,
it's
manageable.
Yeah, totally.
Well, when I was a little kid, and I'm going through a thing where again, what the fuck is that tree doing over there? I was thinking to myself, what the fuck? But I wasn't even just afraid of schizophrenia. I was afraid of even more so, besides everyone, I think at some point in their life fears losing their mind. And this is why I can identify with both Sheridan and Dee Dee, even though Dee Dee expresses that less so. I was also afraid that maybe I was seeing behind the veil, which is sort of a hubristic...
Dude, you went too far.
Weird. And I was just like... And I didn't even have phrases for veil. I mean, I maybe...
for veil.
I knew like a wedding veil. I didn't know about window areas. I'm not even sure if I had read
Did you think that you were the Lizard King? You're
though I was listening to Too Much Doors.
Riding
I
the snake.
thought, if reality really is an artificial construct... I don't want to know this.
Yeah,
I want to live in a world of fucking pizza and orgasms and bad movies
I'm fine
and
with all
buddies.
that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Well,
I don't need to have this knowledge. And so it was years of struggle. So, all right, Uncle Rob's fucking confessional corner over. I really can feel for these people that have these brief moments of it, because now you have to think to yourself, while there definitely are very real world reasons to experience these Oz Factor incidents, can there occasionally be a Fortean reason that you really are? I don't think that's what happened to me personally, but that's for some people it really is something that they're able to get into, and I find that absolutely fascinating and terrifying because, again, Magonia, over and over stories of the people that never come back.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good more often than not.
I mean, probably not. But if you're dealing with a phenomena like that, I mean, you're literally talking about like a shared reality with other creatures or other beings that we have zero fucking clues about, which could very well explain all of this shit.
Oh, that could really explain all of this shit.
It could explain none of it. There you go. There's a paradigm for that.
Wow.
Paradox.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Good thing there's no one between there.
Yeah, there's no gray area there at all.
No, except that it's all gray area.
We're not allowing for gray area, good sir.
Fair enough.
All right. So, with Dee and his encounter here,
that's a
with
different
the
breed of
squirrels,
cat.
It totally is, because it does kind of seem like, and I don't know much about wraiths, let alone forest wraiths. Maybe this is more your guys' territory, but maybe we're talking about.
I rely on Chris for that.
No, Chris is our wraith master.
Captain Wraith. That was my '90s hacker handle.
Captain, dude, the wraith's here.
Wraith Lord 67.
Oh my God.
Wraith Lord Wraith Lord 69. Here I am.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, ladies. So, if this is some sort of vengeful wood spirit or elemental that's there to, avenge its fallen squirrel brothers, because 8 and 45 minutes is clearly too much. It makes me wonder, though, if it was like 9 in an hour, is that okay?
Yeah, is there
is there like a limit?
Is there like random Mogwai rules?
Don't know the rule.
That seem arbitrary but apply.
Yeah, it seems like, so for whatever reason, this kid was killing squirrels. This thing fucking pops up in his room. The mega squirrel, I don't know, man. Could have been a fucking whistle pig. Could have been, because I mean, they are kind of squirrel like color wise and size. I mean, they're pretty fucking big.
All right, let's be honest.
I mean,
squirrels aren't that fucking big, right?
No,
A
but
double-sized squirrel is still not that fucking big.
That's what I'm
really
saying. We're saying it's
not
like a cat. Like
Yeah,
it's the size of a
decent-
fucking
and not even a
cat.
big cat.
Yeah, just a decent cat.
Yeah, it's like a decent mid-level kitten cat.
Yeah, so this thing attacks him or whatever. It could have just been a regular squirrel. When shit gets close to you like that, man, size gets all out of fucking
Oh yeah, when
whack.
something runs right at your face.
Every time I think I see a fox, I think they're the size of a fucking wolf, and they're not. They're still a tiny fox.
Sometimes I see them out my window. You know, look, if you're looking out a window and you're looking at another room, it's got that weird zoom.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
So that makes things look like they're right there and huge, but really
Absolutely.
they're like 100 yards away.
Yeah, totally.
Every time I see a fucking deer, I'm like, oh my god, it's the king of deers.
Right.
And I look out and it's like, oh, it's just
No, it's
fucking
regular sized
doe.
deer.
But yeah,
Yeah,
when you're
Lord
scared and shit's
Stag.
running at you, shit looks big, so that could surely be that. But
Yeah, and you've got
I mean-
the air being filled with the shrill screech of a dying squirrel. You're already starting to feel guilty. It's your
You're already
first day
freaking
hunting.
the fuck out, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hear, and then you look, and Carl Lewis of fucking Squirreldom is running full bore at you,
Yeah.
dives up at your face. You probably duck out of the way just barely,
Right.
And little Rambo, as he calls him, goes chucking off into the woods. That's a double-sized squirrel with like shitty hair. There's to me nothing inexplicable about that except that maybe I don't know about squirrel loyalty. I don't know if I've seen a lot of examples of that or seen any
Oh,
documentaries.
this squirrel had too much.
I don't know if Richard Attenborough has ever covered the fucking bond of squirrel.
Not that I've seen.
Like they're South Boston kids that fucking know the value of listening to Dropkick Murphys and always sticking together no matter what.
Man.
But it seems like this one just fucking had enough, and that was his lady friend, or worse yet, his mom.
Dude, this
and you
squirrel-
fucked up, son.
This squirrel stood its ground.
And
I am
charged.
having no more of this.
That is unthinkable. So jump forward 2 weeks.
The thing in the closet, now that's a little more fucking, which is interesting though, because it is kind of the same size as what was Sheridan experienced, right?
It's bigger, 3 foot.
Yeah, so it's
Like
bigger
double
than-
squirrels are not 3 feet long.
No, I mean the very first story that we covered with
Right.
the 8 men in the fucking in the room attacking the
Yeah,
kid
yeah.
with the fucking fingers, the old cobra clutch there. So this thing going after him, it doesn't really. It tries to do something, but it doesn't succeed. He turns the light on and it's gone.
So
So what the fuck is that?
we don't
Yeah, that's
know.
It's, I mean, that
weird.
to me sounds more paranormal.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it's
it has
wearing
to be.
fucking clothes. It's 3 foot tall. It's not human.
it can only
Yeah.
operate in the dark as soon as the light's on.
Yeah.
It-
No,
Oh,
it's
it's like-
it's 100% paranormal.
It's like Fred Savage in Little Monsters.
Oh, my
Remember?
gosh.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I do.
yeah, with boy. And they fucking turn the lights on, and everyone's like, "No, turn the lights off." Nobody else loves that movie but me.
Oh no, you love
Yeah,
it?
fucking yeah.
Oh,
What movie?
okay.
Yeah, Little Monsters.
Sure. No, it's bad.
Okay, fine.
There it
whatever.
is.
No, it's bad.
It's okay.
So, this fucking thing. First off, we have no idea if it's even related. That is a conceit that humans like to make.
Yeah.
I get it. It's the same kid. It's 2 weeks later. It seems animalistic. I want to put it together too. I desperately want there to be, but we can't. We can't
No.
prove. We
No.
can't prove any of this. But
We can't.
we really can't even honestly look at each other in the eyes and go, "There's definitely a correlation here."
Yeah, there's not a shred of a tie to the first.
No, it just
Not
kinda
really.
This is
happens.
like
I mean, if it was a squirrel again that came out, 100%, there's a tie.
If he's attacked by 100 squirrels in his bedroom, they're fucking avenging
complete
the death.
tie.
Yeah.
And it seems justified sometimes. What I find interesting about this is that this thing doesn't really seem to be hellbent on genuinely hurting Dee Dee. Like, it's there, but he didn't talk about all the bites he got. He didn't talk about how
No, it
its
just
claws
kinda
tore into
scared
him.
him.
The hand held on.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let go. It seemed like it tried to scare the fuck out of him
Yeah.
rather than actually hurt him.
And he could tell that it had clothes and that it had a weird face.
That's just even
Which is
weirder.
even stranger. Because if you can't see it, what do you like? Do you feel the flannel around its waist brush upon you? Like,
Yeah,
what-
it
I
has
just
to
saw
be
like a claw. I mean, you can tell the difference between somebody a silhouette of like naked versus
Right.
clothes.
That's true.
So I assume it has to be something like
and hair
that.
wasn't mentioned either at this point.
No. And, well, the face, though, was some weird
But it's
fucking...
pointy and
Yeah.
wrinkly.
Clothes is kind of weird.
So it has an animalistic face. It's only 3 feet tall.
Okay.
I mean, it could be somebody with primordial dwarfism and some sort of facial
yeah,
disfigurement
could be, yeah.
who likes to hide in teenage boys' closets for whatever reason.
Classic
and
demon.
leap out.
Could be a classic demon.
It could be a classic
Classic
demon.
demon.
Could be a dapper little alien.
Yeah. A dapper little alien.
It could be a lot of things.
Yeah,
There's a
but
lot.
the poofing of the light.
The poofing of the light.
Yeah, as soon as the light comes on, missing fucking jets. It's like, okay, so you're like from the dimension that doesn't like light, or
And also the dimension that can just hang out in my fucking closet.
yeah, which is weird too.
I mean,
that seems more illusory. Like somebody just put it in his head. Like it wasn't really there.
Yeah, actually,
like that incident never happened.
No, he experienced it, but like it physically wasn't actually there. It was like an illusion.
it's more like a psychological thing.
Oh, almost is it? All right, so you're saying like a projection, like a psychic projection created
Yeah,
by the
or-
Omni Squirrel to terrify him.
Well, or if he's just having kind of fucking weird thoughts about killing all these squirrels and the squirrel that
Well,
fucking
I mean, it
charged him,
could have just made
kinda-
him see it. Not
He
that it was
just got all
actually there.
fucked up
No, that's what I
about
meant
it,
about
yeah.
psychic projection. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't get the impression Dee was suffering from an incredible amount of guilt. He comes from a hunting family, and again, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. You kill it, you eat it. God bless you, because I don't even have the balls to. If I had to kill my own meat, I'd be a vegetarian.
There you
I
go.
know that. I can live with that hypocrisy. So I'm not throwing a hunter under the bus. What I'm saying is that I don't think this guy was feeling particularly bad. He was laughing
No,
about
no,
it
not really.
himself,
Yeah,
like
no, he
laughing
just-
at himself
yeah.
about it, like, oh man, why did the squirrel scare me? And it was pretty much out of his head by the time this thing happened.
Unless maybe it was that scream kind of fucked him up. You
Well,
know,
yeah.
that'll do it. I know plenty of people that have gone hunting once, and they're like, can't do that shit again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Can't do it.
You know,
So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot there, but because of the whole poofing with the light and everything, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely fucking scary though. So, I mean, I guess watch your closets, right?
always.
Keep an eye on
Always.
them. Close them.
Don't-
If you don't have doors, put doors on.
Yeah,
I guess he could have had some
Even
fucked
a
up, really
blanket.
super realistic dream too. Really,
If you
he
have
really
one of
just
those-
fucking was flailing. He thought he had some shit, and he turned the light on.
and
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
would love to know if there were any physical traces after the fact.
If that's
Right,
the
Like
thing,
marks on his
Scratches.
arm,
with the
anything.
first or the second
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
bruising or something, you know.
I have no problem believing the first one. That could have just been a rabid or fucking really pissed off large squirrel.
yeah.
I have no like if that first story happened. That's not even a story. That's a weird little hunting story. That's not something.
Oh,
we
yeah.
cover.
Right.
It's this second part that makes you go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's the clothes that really throw you off because otherwise
Yeah.
it could just be an animal in the closet.
You
you know?
had a raccoon situation here at your
Yeah,
sister's house.
definitely. I was chased by a fucking rat once.
But it's like an open closet, right? So like, would he not have seen it in there?
You'd think, but I mean, who
Like-
knows? He's a teenage boy.
Yeah, you would
Clothes
think.
could be thrown everywhere. I mean, plus it's under the stairs, so there's no one to say that. Like the door might be rectangular, but the closet might descend under the stairs into
mean,
a weird nook.
If we're talking about
I'm not
like,
worried about
like
that
a
part.
wild animal encounter, I can't think of a wild animal that's 3 foot tall that with a large
Oh my
hand.
god, it's a mangy
Well,
fucking
that also
raccoon.
bamps when light happens. So.
Yeah, it pulls a fucking night crawler and gets his ass out of there. I mean,
And he's not even wearing clothes. He's just got like the kid's dirty laundry wrapped around him.
oh, is it just a mangy raccoon that's fucking pissed?
With a squinch face.
All right.
Has nothing to do with
Their
anything.
faces are kind of pointy too.
And maybe there's like a hole in the fucking closet or something. Who knows how rural and fucking
Yeah, okay.
gouged
It
up this
just
place
fell
is.
into the basement
Well, maybe. I mean,
when they turned the light on. It could be. I guess.
I mean, I don't know if he has a basement. He has a downstairs bedroom, not necessarily a basement one, but
Pretty sure a squirrel or a raccoon would be more scared of you.
yeah.
Want to get the fuck
I mean,
away
if,
from
and even
you.
if, it, but when the light comes on, I mean, you still are going to see it scuttle away, probably.
You would think, unless it just fucking, like Chris said, unless it just fell into the basement. There's a hole. The hole that it uses to traverse the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. What was that movie, Unknown Origin, with Peter Weller, where he's being chased by a super rat that lives in his house and is stalking his family.
Yes.
Jesus
Holy
Christ.
shit. Yes, I haven't thought about that
From
in forever.
1981,
Holy
I
fuck,
believe.
yes.
That was a good
Oh,
year for rat
God.
movies. Deadly Eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Or the other one, Rats, with fucking
Oh, yes,
Knights
rats,
of Terror.
rats.
Yeah, the Italian one, a post-apocalyptic
Oh,
one where there's
yes.
acid rain and they
Yeah.
found a safe place, but
Yeah.
they didn't. You know why? Rats.
Oh, rats, son of a bitch. Well, there you have it. Thank you all so very much for joining us. The
Rats aren't
Cryptonaut-
squirrels, though.
No, they're not. They're not. It's okay. We're just going to consider them all.
They're all rodents.
Rodents of the Lord. There you have it.
Oh my God, there it is.
The Cryptonaut podcast. Thank you all so very much for joining us. The Oz Factor. So this is possibly a volume 1, right?
Possibly.
Possibly. We'll see.
There's
we
no
may do
reason to
more.
assume we won't go back in
No,
there.
totally. Thank you all so very much for joining us. The socials, the Instas, and the Twitters, and the Facebooks. Be sure to check us out there. What up, Facebook fan group, community? Thank you all so very much. Mod admins, thank you for holding that down.
Word.
Tons of funny shit.
Oh my God.
Primo fucking Pit Viper content.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know if you
Louise.
guys have logged on and see this, but there's
Not in a while.
listen.
I'm just ignoring
There's
it.
a lot of sales happening that I think that we're directly responsible for. So
Really?
like I'm just saying, man. Look, we ain't getting money out of this. We're just helping the movement. That's all we're doing.
No, you are.
Yeah, you absolutely are the one solo doing
You guys
that.
need to go look at all the stuff that's on there. It's ridiculous.
I mean, if they give us money, then maybe I'll do
I'm just
something.
saying, man. We're all out there doing it. Crocs and pits, baby. We're making it happen.
I'm glad for you. I'm really happy you found something in your life.
Yes, no, it took me a while, but I finally, my children and my wife understand.
Yeah,
I
this is
finally
your
found
born
something.
again
Yeah, this is
God.
my-
We
this
I
is-
know. You
Vipers.
definitely proselytized
This is my
the Pit
midlife.
Viper.
This is my midlife crisis.
There it is.
So thank you all for the community over there. Thank you so very much. We appreciate the Patreon, patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. Check that out. Thank you to everyone over there that supports us. Before we take off, we have got some shout outs and some thank yous to give. Robert, you recently received, as a matter of fact, today, a book.
Yes.
There is your book there from
Brennan Carey. Thank you
Hell
so
yeah.
fucking much. And it's a book that I have been wanting to add to the library for a while. Alien Animals, I believe it's called.
Yep.
Yes, by the Bordens, Janet and Colin.
Yes.
And it's fucking awesome. Like, I got that from the library years ago, and I loved it. So thank you, fucking Brennan. I mean, obviously, I always love it when the crypto library expands, and I very much appreciate all of the cool tomes that have been sent to us by listeners, because A, it just expands the resources, and B, just because I'm a junkie for it and I love it. But
You know what's super cool is they just hit me up and they're like, hey, I got this book. I think he was saying that like they were like moving out or downsizing or something. They're like, oh, hey, check it out. We got this book. Would you guys be interested in it? It's like, fuck yeah, we would. Holy shit, that's awesome.
and it's got one of those great,
So
I think,
cool.
John Searle Nessie photos on the
Yeah,
cover,
it does,
where he's got
yeah.
the big open pink
It's-
mouth.
it's super
And I
cool.
know that everyone thinks they're garbage, but I fucking love them.
Oh, totally.
I absolutely love them. So again, Brennan, Mr. Carey, if you will, thank you so fucking much, because it's super thoughtful. It's got that like great old paperback cover that I love.
It's
well
great,
read,
yeah.
well loved, exactly the way I want my books to be. And I really can't wait to pour through it deeply and get some stories out of it. So thank you again.
For sure. Also, we want to give a shout out to Ryan Mills. Now, Ryan actually, he has a shop here. It's on Etsy. The link's going to be in the description of this podcast. It's called A Random Shop, spelled SHOPPE, Chape. if you will.
Chape, yes.
So, actually, Ryan, a couple of months back, he did the Sam the Sandown Ghost Clown 3D printed toy.
Yes.
So I saw it and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta get that. So I ordered it from him, and then I purchased it, and he sent me a couple extra things. Actually, over here on the table, I recently brought this for Chris. It's the Goat King that he did for
Yeah,
us.
it's pretty
It's
dope.
so fucking
Totally.
dope.
I love that.
It's super fucking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So yeah, Ryan actually just sent us a box of really fucking awesome random other 3D.
So fucking cool.
Sasquatch, the fucking the Flatwoods monster.
Yes, I love that.
He has a couple different colorways that he did. I got some pictures on our Instagram, so be sure to check that out there. And like I said, the link is going to be in the description of this podcast. So Ryan, thank you so very much. Your fucking work is awesome, dude. It's so fucking killer. I can't wait to check out other stuff that you did.
Yeah, you're super talented, man. Thank you.
I may have gotten a little sneak peek of a one Loveland Frog, man.
Oh.
I don't want to start internet rumors about projects that Ryan might be working on, but there might be a fucking Loveland Frogman, and it had a fucking wand. In its fucking hand.
shit.
Yeah, so be sure to check
I'm
that out.
very excited.
Check out Ryan, support him. He does some fucking awesome work over there. And again, that is on Etsy, A Random Shop. That will be in A Random Shop. A Random Shop. That will be in the description of this podcast. Thank you all so very much for your continued support. Holy fucking shit.
As always.
It's been a lot, man. It's just been a lot.
It's
but
overwhelming.
It is.
It's
but
so, but I don't mean overwhelming in a bad way.
No,
like
it's
in
good.
a joyous.
It's really good.
I can't believe it. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Really
worth getting up
fucking-
for way.
it's-
Thank you all.
And we all have a ton of fucking just bizarre shit happening right now, but it's awesome that you guys are there for us. We have this awesome little community of weird that we built, so we are forever grateful for your listenership and for your camaraderie, right?
Camaraderie.
We're all in this together.
Patronage.
Yes, your hellerspace.com, right? Is that a thing that
Oh,
we're
is
supposed
that
to do?
what you do? Yeah.
No, don't order anything off that goddamn website without a discount. Don't you give me your full money.
Oh, wow.
You listen to me right now.
Don't you give Mark
don't you-
Guff.
don't
He's got
you-
the look.
Don't you give him the full money. You wait till there's a goddamn 35% off sale.
Whoa.
No, but honestly,
Truth,
thank you all
folks.
so very much. We appreciate it. And we're talking to you soon.
Goodbye.
Keep it weird. Keep it real. And if you slip into another dimension, I think the best thing you can do is just try to keep plugging forward and realize that maybe 9 times out of 10 you're going to come home. I hope you're not the 10th.
Yeah, take pictures. Take a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Document that shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Fight the monkey.
For sure.
Kick the squirrel.
Yeah, I mean they're both fightable and they're both fuckable.
Whoa, hey! I
You
mean,
know what
I'm not here to say no, but I mean no.
Or take the third path and just be friends. Wow. There you go. No fighting, no fucking, just be friends.
Friendship.
Yeah, friendship.
That's
you know,
the third
no one
path.
ever thinks about the third path. Yeah.
Not when there's rocks to huck.
Maybe we should try to be friends more
You've
often.
turned a leaf, my friend.
Yeah.
A new one.
Not really.
You know what? Hand over your pit vipers.
My authority's been stripped. See ya.